right, good morning, everybody. What a day yesterday, a spectacular Kentucky Derby day. I loved it. I love to see the fans. Love to see the Kentucky Derby back on the first Saturday in May instead of sometime in November, October, something like that. It's great to be back normal. The fans were up. The wagering was up. It was fantastic, Chappie.
Yeah, it was a great day, George, once again. And the excitement here at Santa Anita was terrific. And the crowd was sold out crowd for what we could have. But it seemed like there were 40,000 people here. And it sure looked like they packed them in at Churchill Downs, I'll tell you that. And always nice to have a local horse winning, of course. Shocker, Bob Baffert wins again. But I hope we go over this for a minute. It's not who we all believed, although, George, you the man. I give you credit. You picked Medina Spirit right from the start. So well done, boy. Well done.
I love the way Medina Spirit worked after that race, and just worked like a racehorse, like that had found himself. He always has shown true grit. Wouldn't let those horses pass him. And yesterday, everything just fell his way. He broke great, Rock Your World. He got the karma trip. He got nailed. And so
he was done. It was over. The whole race changed in about 2 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And what's I think leading into the Derby, all the people I talked to over the last couple of weeks and interviewed and stuff, I think the best way I heard it put, somebody that liked Medina Spirit said, pretend like Life is Good wasn't around. Because he's not around right now, right? And go look at the past performances where this horse twice lost to Life is Good. If he's coming into the Derby with like 3 graded stakes wins and then even a second to rock your world in the Santa Anita Derby, what price is he then? Probably half of what he was, And I say this as someone who used him more in the underneath spots, and I didn't make a lot of money. I didn't have him on top. But when you kind of look at it like that and say, hey, Life is Good isn't here. If he wasn't around in those other races, this is a horse who would have, blown the doors off of the horses he faced leading up to this race. And then, boom, Rock Your World's out, and the whole race is different, right?
Yeah. Also, I was going to say, also, don't forget Midnight Bourbon's connections that said they were going. And Smith admitted he missed the break. 2 horses that would have either taken on Medina Spirit, kept him honest, maybe gotten lead over him because they're more bent on it. And two other horses did it, and so you're left with the horse that, as George said, right? I mean, he had everybody said, well, he's never been passed. You're right, never been passed because he runs the same race around the track. Well, when you run that race on the lead, it's pretty tough to beat that. Yeah.
And even this morning, they've already had a conversation. Now, Baffert's got a tough decision to make because he was pointing Concert Tour to the Preakness, who they thought, I'm sure, was a lot better than Medina Spirit. And now he's got to figure out what he wants to do. He said, I have to tell the owners later this week, are we going to run them both? Am I going to run a horse who may be even better than the horse who just won the Derby in that race? What does he do? I guess it's a tough decision, like a good problem to have, right?
Yeah. 3 things about that. I mean, first of all, Gino and I did the podcast earlier this week, and we said 2 things. We said Medina Spirit was going to go to the front or attempt to, right? Now, we didn't know a couple horses would get eliminated. But that was his best chance. And we both didn't think he was good enough, but we said if he gets in a dogfight, he's a fighter. Now, that being said, like you said, moving forward to the Preakness, if they both go, Concert Tour will be favored over Medina Spirit.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Ellis?
Well, it's logical in terms of Medina Spirit, just was his 3rd stringer. Coming into the race, he's the 2nd stringer. I tweeted out this morning, I thought it'd be very interesting if only the top 2 finishers for the Derby went in the Preakness and the other 12 horses, at least, I think it's 14 horses go. The other 12 are all going to be new shooters. And this gives me very, very interesting to see what happens.
I disagree. I don't think that the favorite's going to be Concert Tour. I think the favorite's going to be whoever Mattress Mac bets on. He's going to determine the favorite, man. He got $2.4 million.
What a good introduction, huh? Yeah.
Wow, that guy, he's something else. You know him pretty well, Chappie.
Yeah, he's a maniac, isn't he? But he's a promoter, but he does it right. And he good for him. Look,
as good of a guy as you'll find too, right?
He's lovable. He's so lovable. He's a lovable guy.
Hey,
Think about what happened this year with the weather and the power outage.
Right.
Everybody lost their power.
Yeah.
He opened his doors, welcomes everybody
the doors
in.
to the
Whatever
furniture
you
store.
need, mattresses, food, drinks, heat. We've got it all for you. He is a good dude.
There's guys who flaunt their money and you hate them. Man, Mattress Mac is the whole entire opposite. Yeah. I love him. I love saying run happy. I run happy. I got a run happy stove at home. I got a run happy stove.
Well, not only that, he's a philanthropist. I mean, the money he's thrown, as Gino said, opening the doors, and then the hurricane a couple years back, and what he did for foster kids this weekend, and the bet and the promotion, and all that. He's just all around good guy. And also for the industry, is promotion for the industry. But don't forget, I mean, he backed his horse, Run Happy, since he'd left the track with millions of dollars of promotions. We make fun of all the stakes, name Run Happy this and Run Happy that. But, that's money that goes to purses, which goes to owners, which goes to trainers, which goes to jocks and valets, and goes to the grooms and everybody. All that purse money that Mac puts in the industry. So, I mean, he needs to be thought of, honestly, in the same vein with Godolphin and Spendthrift and the big farms, because he is such a big supporter of racing.
Yeah, no question about it.
Yeah, we stories in racing right now, like there's a lot of negative publicity we get. We hate to say it, but when there's someone like that who is just a genuinely good person, he's got money too, so he's backing. He puts his money where his mouth is all the time. Like I loved seeing them following him around. I love seeing him making his bets. I love the pub all week. I love hearing him on different shows talking about it. It's great for the game, and I applaud him. It's really cool.
Hey, Chappie, at the Derby, Aaron Rodgers was there. What did he have a Denver cap on? What did he have on? I couldn't tell.
I think in like the fifth race, he switched from Packers to
after the Niners drafted their QB. He went, he took the Niners hat off because he knew he wasn't going there.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like a philanthropist yesterday. I gave all my money to the track here in Santa Anita. So, I try to do my best for the game, which I did.
Well, I won yesterday, and I've adopted Ellis, who's going to win today, baby. I feel it. Ellis, the Uber camper. The
man
who I've just recently got
at the shelter.
I've just recently got to know, and one of the finest handicappers we have on the circuit. It is a pleasure to have you. It's a pleasure for me to have met you and to know your work. You do a great job. Ellis, we've got $100 to win on one horse today because we got to, make some money. Who's going to be the winner and why?
Before we get into anything, I want to say I had a price horse today. It got scratched. So I'm actually going to be chalking out now, as I kind of teased before. So my win bet's going to be in race 3. It's going to be number 3, Gypsy Blue. 2 horses scratched out of the race. So it's now a 5-horse field. Gypsy Blue just stands out on class, ran second for a $50,000 claiming price under almost identical conditions last time in February. That was her first race in a claiming race, and they're just dropping her down because she's getting old in years. They're just, you drop a horse to keep it competitive, and she stands out in this race. She ran second in that highly rated sprint, turf sprint on February 15th at Santa Anita, and she should get it done today.
All right, Chappie, you're in big trouble because right after the third race, I don't know how you're going to catch us. We're going to turn our $300 into $310. How are you going to catch us now? How are you going to catch us now?
Hey, I'll tell you what. Getting on the board is half the battle here. That is true.
Yeah.
Right?
Yesterday, both our spectacular handicappers went over.
I've done that twice, I think, on these. It's gone over. But we're going to get it started right away, Chappie. We're not going to have to wait long because we're going to be on the board right off the bat in the first race.
Let's do it. What do you got, buddy?
So race number 1, I'm going to the 6-year Magical Gray. It's a field of 7. They're going to be going sprinting on the turf here. If you look at Magical Gray's last few races, I think you can build some excuses in. Let's go 3 starts back in November. Actually ran really well, finishing third behind a horse named Acting Out. That horse just went up to Golden Gate last weekend and finished second in a really good $70,000 stakes. After that, on January the 22nd, Magical Gray just breaks well but 4 others want to go to the lead. So you know what ends up happening? Somebody gets squeezed out of that spot, and that was Magical Gray. Ends up getting squeezed out, loses like 3 lengths, and then she's kind of stuck behind horses at the mercy of the field, inside, waiting for room, nowhere to go, really sneaky trouble. Came back last time out, and I think it was just a tougher group. It was against First Level Allowance Company. She was traveling pretty well. She sort of got the trip that she wanted. She was chasing lone speed, and she just faltered a little bit late in a group that was too tough. I think it's a much better spot for her, a little fresh off of a couple months. Hernandez jumps aboard. He's been riding very well. I think she's got a little versatility to her where she can show some tactical speed, but she can also pass some horses. If we can get around 5-1, let's see if we can get $500 or $600 on the board to start here, Chappie.
See, George, this is why my guys have survived in advance. They dig back. They go back 3 races. They find the subtleties. They watch the replays. That's what G said. Come on, 6-1, Magical Gray to start it off in the first.
Okay, not all your guys study. Huh? You had Dave Weaver on, and he was like, I just looked at it 3 minutes ago. Hold on a second. I just looked at the races. Calm down. Hey, so, not all your people are like that. Yeah. Dave Weaver.
That's a Dave special. That's a Dave special.
Dave Weaver goes, well, ice cold to number 5.
Dave goes, Chappie, give me 2 horses. And then he builds the case for the 2 right there live on air.
All right, you got me there, George. Sometimes
so not all your guys are all this studious. Alice, back to you. You got $100 exacta to play with. And I'm a man of many hats. I love that you always got that wonderful cap on, and yeah, baby, that's Uber capper right there. What are you doing with your exacta?
My Uber cap says the 9th race, and so hopefully, if I can hit the first of my bets and the last of my bets, I don't know what Gino's going to do, but I think I'll be okay. The 9th race, 6 furlongs on the grass, maiden special, and I'm going with the 8 over the 5-7. The 8's Lava Lane. Second time out for Phil D'Amato, made her debut last August, ran third to a horse that came back to win with traffic. She was 10-1. I think she would have won the race. Go back and watch the replay. She would have won without the traffic. D'Amato, of course, just doing everything right. Gets Rispoli back in after some great rides at Churchill, working nicely outside posts, had traffic trouble. And over the 5-7 are Miss Millie, who closed from 7th to 3rd on dirt, 7th to 5th last time out. Second off the long layoff, get back to that second lifetime start. Never tried grass, but should be okay. And the 7 Blazing Bella Blue, who just rallied from 6th to 2nd. And the 3rd horse came back to win there. I think a little slower than Lava Lane. So 8 over 5-7 in the night.
8 over 5-7, and if we get to that race with $310, we might be able to turn it into $325. So we're feeling good. No, just kidding. Hey, Umberto Rispoli.
I know. I was gonna say. I actually almost picked that race, and I almost boxed the 5-8. So we have very similar thoughts in that race because I almost wanted to try to maybe get the 5 in the mix, but I decided not to try to get a little more value elsewhere. But we see that race very similarly. So if you're playing any pick 4s or pick 5s, I think he's kind of sniffed out the real logical horses.
And I thought George would be all over Lava Lane because it's Phil D'Amato, who he now calls the Lord of the Lawn. Right, Georgie?
Yeah, he's just spectacular. I mean, that filly ran against Althea Gibson, and as Ellis said, probably should have beat Althea Gibson. Althea Gibson turned into a really nice last, and so coming back, Rispoli ran really well in Kentucky yesterday, right? He won some races. He looked awesome. Let me tell you what, I love John Sadler, one of my favorite guys of all time. Joel Rosario is one of my best friends of any jockey that I know. I mean, I was his assistant jockey agent for a long time. I love those guys, love them. But as soon as Rock Your World got hammered out of the gate, the first word that came into my mind was karma, right? Wasn't that like the first thing that came into your mind? I was like, oh my gosh, horse racing karma is crazy.
Yeah, and Rispoli outfinished them, on his mount. And he rode him and Pratt, I think yesterday.
That went great.
Really showed people because they're on the West Coast and sometimes they don't make the moves out for a lot of the bigger races in the Midwest or the East Coast, and people kind of out of sight, out of mind. Oh yeah, they're just in West Coast with small fields. Those two are two top quality riders. I would put either of them on any of my horses, any surface, any style, you name it.
Yeah, on Natalie Bafford's de jour, he rode. Good. Wow, that was just a great ride. He's one of the best riders in the country, but you put him on turf, and it seems like he's at another level. He is a turf rider extraordinaire.
The only thing I could say about the Derby and I was not on Rock Your World, but obviously with 20 horses, some horses are going to get eliminated.
Right.
But I would have loved to seen that horse break well just to see the outcome.
Right. How it shapes up.
I don't think Rock Your World's going to come back in the Preakness. I'm not sure.
So either.
No. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I don't think Hot Rod Charlie is either, actually, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
But,
no, I don't think so either. Who ran good? Another local horse who ran really great yesterday.
Yeah. I loved him. I got the old breed thrill when they turned for home. I thought he was blowing on by, but
I was screaming for nines. Yeah.
All right, what do we at, Gino? What do we got all carried away here?
Yeah, we did.
Gino, your exacta, Gino?
I got a $50 double coming up, right? Or do you want the exacta first?
Exacta
first. Okay, let's go to the 8th race for the exacta. I'm going to play $100 exacta here. So I'm looking at the 2 Big Beauty, who is going to try the dirt for the first time. She's raced on the turf 3 times, and she's raced pretty well on all 3. Her last try was against slightly tougher, just a little bit tougher first level allowance group. She's going to try the dirt. Her dam actually won twice going long on the dirt. She's a full sibling to a stakes winner named Big Book, who's actually also graded stakes placed on the dirt. So I don't think there should be any issue with this horse taking to the dirt. I think she's very talented. To me, the horse to beat is Pawnee, the one that they're going to all have to catch. Pawnee, wire to field, going a mile, 2 starts back, then tried Stakes Company, just in a little bit too tough last time out. She's no down the one to catch. I think Big Beauty will be able to kind of sit behind and run her down late. So I'm going to use the 2 over the 6, $100 exacta, Big Beauty over Pawnee.
All right, so we're doing, as we just said, the aforementioned Dave Weaver ice cold. 2-6.
Drop the pen.
Yeah.
And he got both jockeys who we were just talking about. You got Pratt and Rispoli, and it seems like you can't go wrong with them. All right, we are now at the Daily Double Time. Ellis, first of all, how can people get a hold of your stuff, man? Obviously, on Twitter, you're at Ubercapper, but there's other places too, right?
Well, everything's linked. I do a race of the day for Sandy's website. Keeneland won the running. A race of the week for Keeneland's. It's on Keeneland.com. You can Google it, the race of the week, and some other blogs and Equibase, America's Best Racing. I'm doing about 6 or 7 races a week, and I just started a YouTube channel, so you can Google at Ubercapper YouTube and see it. Just messing around with that. Mostly, it's that's blogs and they're saying doing a race day for Sanity is a lot of fun.
We love to have you on our website. I love looking at your hat. So every time I go on there, you go, hey, there's Ellis. I love that hat.
I love your hat too, George.
Finally, I talked about your hat for 20 minutes so you can talk about mine. No, just kidding. Anyway, you got a daily double, $100. Where are you going?
Well, this is going to be fun because I know that Gino and I are similarly situated but different. So this is actually going to be the make or breaker.
This is.
I'm going to go from the 5th to the 6th, and my daily double is the 1 and the 2 in race 5 with the 4 in race 6. The horse I loved was Freedom Flyer, who scratched. So the 1 and the 2 are logical. Team Merchants didn't run that well first time out at Saratoga, though. This is a Redham, Kentucky bred who debuted at Saratoga. Second time out, boy, that light bulb went on, and he stalked the pace and won by 3 3/4 under wraps. Coming back to 3-year-old now, so adding Lasix, 2 big workouts under a minute flat on the 17th and 24th of April. Bred to love the turf by Nyquist out of a mare named Edwina, the only other foal, believe it or not, won its second career start after starting on the dirt. Dirt to turf, just like this. The first turf start, team this half sister or brother or sister, I can't know. The 2 Team Merchants won, and O'Neill's pretty good at the move anyway. 2 is What Makes Sammy Run for Mark Glatt. Second time out, Belmont, almost the same situation as Team Merchants. 7 on the grass last October, won by 8 3/4. Just killed them in hand. They tried a stakes, not disgraced 3rd, 2nd in allowance, time off. third after leading late at a mile at Gulfstream. So about 7 furlong mark, made the lead. This horse is cut out to be a sprinter. Tried another stake, ran lousy. Love the cutback, love the drop in class. Pratt, as we said. And another breeding note, this horse, what makes Sammy run, is a half to a horse named Shakamat, who ran a lot of races in Kentucky, and Woodbine won $500,000 and was a stakes winner. So another one bred. So it's a 1-2, and then the 4, the obvious horse in the 6th race after the scratch of the 8, Lady Aces, rallied from 7th to 4th, beaten 2. Should improve a ton off the physical and mental experience of a race. 1-2 with 4.
1-2 with 4, and we, not too often on this show does anybody ever mention Shakama, and so we mentioned Shakama in this race. I feel good about our chances. Come on, Shaka, try to beat that. Shaka Chappie.
Well, Gino's going to bring the shock and awe right here with this pick. Anyways, Gino, before the shock and awe, tell us a little bit about That's What G Said. I know you put in a heck of a lot of work last week.
Yeah, so this past week, we had 13 hours of content between 3 different shows. We covered every single stakes race with a different handicapper, covered all the races at Churchill on Friday, Saturday. But then I had an hour NFL draft preview. We recapped the finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We do a wrestling, This Week in Wrestling segment where we review and recap all of the major wrestling shows. So you need it, any information in sports. Every episode, there's going to be multiple days of racing for multiple tracks on That's What G Said. So, I understand there's a lot of good shows, a lot of great content out there. The way that I can sort of stand out is by giving them more, as much as you can, and the most amount of options possible. So you're always going to get someone who doesn't sleep a whole lot, someone who works really hard, and someone who's trying to get you guys all the most prepared as possible.
And by the way,
you're nodding off just now.
I know. Right?
By the way, Gino gave me race 6 yesterday because I was on his show for Churchill, and I love the
nailed it, blowout.
Yeah,
wire to wire, blowout,
crushed him. And that, you know what? I should have done the walk off because I didn't cash another ticket the rest of the day.
Right
there, just walked right out the door, gone home, went to bed, and that would have been it. But
I've done that a few times with my buddies when we come to the track. I've walked into Santa Anita, and I just missed right on the wire, and I did the walk out. It's like, nope, just got beat. It's going to be one of those days. I'm out of here. And they said, dude, we just got here. I said, no, I know what's going to be like today. I'm going to go.
Yeah. At least I sounded like a genius on there, but I didn't win anything else.
You sounded great. Yeah. And I'm going to do the same for you right here, Chappie, in the 5th race. So the scratch of the 4, Freedom Flyer. You know what actually even makes Ellis's 2 look a little better too? That win from within yesterday came back and ran a bang-up race at Churchill on the undercard, ran 3rd in one of those stakes races. So that franks the 2s for me even more. But I'm going to try to beat the 2. I'm going to the 5 and the 6. I actually prefer Cherubic Factor a little bit. He debuted in a monster maiden special weight race. And when we think of Peter Urton, we think of someone who's a little bit better with horses that have 2 starts, 3 starts, and a couple races under their belt. He was behind Defunded for Baffert, who we just saw finish 4th in the Pat Day Mile yesterday. Defunded also took a shot in the Santa Anita Derby where he was 4th. And we saw the horse who finished 2nd that day following C. He was actually the more highly regarded of the Bafferts. He went over to Oaklawn and won a maiden special weight with a 97 Beyer speed figure. So I think Cherubic Factor comes out of a monster debut race. And then 2nd start, sprinting on the turf, super impressive. Showed that nice tactical style. I think he'll sit well from the outside. So to me, I like him quite a bit in here. And then I thought the 5 was a total wild card, Mohawk King. Especially now, the fact that Callahan scratches the 4, who he also had in this race. So I'm thinking that maybe they are very high on Mohawk King as a wild card, new face coming in to the U.S. for the first time. I'll use 5 and 6 to start my double, and I'm going to end with the same horse as Ellis, the number 4, Lady Aces, who a lot of what Ellis said, sort of a step slow, kind of green early outrun, but really started to get into a nice stride late, angled out to the outside, and you could see there's something there. Then you come back and has worked really, really well in the mornings. Actually, the 5th place finisher from that race came back to win a maiden 80,000 claimer, which is sort of like a maiden special weight. It's about as close as you can get. So the race has come back live. This horse, same thing. Peter Urton. What do we think of Urton? A little bit of improvement with horses. He's not a Baffert that's going to win first time out of the box a whole ton, but 2nd, 3rd starts, that's where they get a little bit better. So I'll single Lady Aces on the back end of that double. It's going to be a $50 double, 5-6 with 4.
Hey,
I love it. Like you guys were saying, that could come down to that double for you guys. It's very interesting. Alice?
Yeah. I want to add that this what Gino said is absolutely true, and I want to add this race is actually a decent race for betting.
It is.
Because Lady Aces will not be the favorite. Baffert
No.
Ginger on the rail is going to take money. Even money last out and was 2 lengths behind at the 8th pole and 3 lengths behind at the end. It was $100,000 optional maiden claimer. So they put the horse in for $100,000, probably not claim, but still, this isn't the horse that they're that high on.
And the horse Stressed, who beat Ginger, was the horse who was 5th in the Lady Aces race. So Lady Aces beat that horse already.
Yeah. And is Just Distorted still in on the bottom, George? That horse?
Scratch.
No.
Scratched. Okay. Got it.
All right, before we get, you know what I mean? So, Ellis, you're starting a YouTube channel. You heard, you know, what G said. So, on top of horse racing, you're going to have to add like a recap, and you're going to have to add some haberdashery and tips on wearing hats.
Everything, yeah.
Gino's going to have 13
Maybe
hours
a cheese segment or something like that.
Gino's going to have 13 hours a week of content, and I'm going to have probably 30 seconds.
Hey, you know what? As long as we're picking winners for the people, I actually did something similar on the Derby day. I did a 5-minute run through of the whole day, just because I know some people don't have the time to listen to hours, and I gave them a little thing. So as long as we're giving them winners, Ellis, they'll be happy, right?
This is true. I didn't do that yesterday, I'll admit.
Me neither.
All right.
was great. Derby day was.
We had a lot of choices for the tiebreaker race, but twisted everybody's arm, and we landed on race number 7. And so I'm dying to find out who his tiebreaker is, and hopefully he'll elaborate as to why he likes his tiebreaker so much. Go ahead, Ellis.
Quiet Secretary on the rail. It looks like there's a lot of speed at first glance. But Quiet Secretary sat second, 2 lengths off January 21st. She's won her last 2 mile turf races. And the one in which she sat second is perfect because She's Our Charm, who happens to be out of the same mare as Rock Your World, believe it or not. But, of course, that's a turf pedigree, is a nice filly. She wants the lead. Laura's Light wants the lead. Trickle In probably wants the lead. I think if Jockey Jess can sit second or third here, she can do what she did in that January 31st race, what the filly did, and get up in time and get the win here.
All right, Gino, how about you for the tiebreaker, my friend?
I'm going to go with the 5 Beguiled. I feel like, sort of like what Ellis was saying, I think there are versions of this race where they do just go a little bit too fast, where maybe Quiet Secretary gets caught up with She's Our Charm or Laura's Light, and even if she tries to sit, maybe they go a little quicker than they want. I think that'll set up very well for Beguiled to come from off the pace. Second start off the short little break. This is a good spot for Beguiled to take a nice step forward here, stretching out. Won't have to be as far back now at a mile. So while there's speed, I think he won't have to be 10 lengths out. She won't have to be so far back as she was when she was sprinting. So yeah, let's give Beguiled a shot here as a tiebreaker.
All right, let's do it, Georgie.
Sounds good. Hopefully the races today will not beguile our handicappers, and they'll be right on and hopefully win a lot of money for Karma, which is our charity, and it's just a wonderful charity. We're so happy to be able to raise some money for that great Karma, and also just thank both of you for a wonderful show. I thought it was highly entertaining. Hopefully they'll pick some winners, and I'm personally rooting for a horse called Sherlock, which is owned by Terry Lovinger, and you know him and Gary Sherlock. They did great work together for years and years and years, especially with 2-year-olds. So you know I'm kind of like a sentimental rooting for Sherlock, just because you know I loved Gary a lot, and so it's nice to see. Chappie, in
that race, some great names. We've got Sherlock, and then for fans of the Birdcage, the number 1, you've got Agador Spartacus, who does not wear shoes because they make him fall down. So great Birdcage character for the fans of that movie.
Just one more thing. Just one more thing. Because that's what Columbo always used to say. And number 4 is named after Columbo. Barsini Red is a Columbo. So we got some great names in that. So.
Well, George, all I can say is you can take it to the bank. The 6
there
horse.
You go, right?
One of my team members is going to win today.
You're going to win. You're going to win.
Love that.
Alice, I hope you win this round, and I hope you lose next round.
Well, good luck to Gino.
I love you guys.
Good luck,
Have
Alice.
a great day.
Have a good